Don't forget the sunscreen. And bring the beach balls. We can't go to the beach without our balls. Greetings, mateys. It's me, Captain Adam. And welcome aboard me VHS Pirate Ship. VHS Pirate Ship! Today, we're going on vacation in the search for summer movies. So, grab your sunscreen and enjoy the show, because it's time for fun in the sun. Yarr!
Ah yes, the summer movie. Now I'm sure when you hear the term summer movies, you probably think of the huge big blockbusters that were released in the summertime. Large, expensive productions that ensure an enthralling cinematic experience. But no, when I say summer movies, I mean movies that encompass the summer vacation concept in all its different forms. Could be about a beach trip, or a camping expedition, or even about a road trip to go to a theme park. And speaking of that, you simply cannot talk about summer vacation movies without talking about the most famous example, with National Lampoon's Vacation. It was released in theaters July 29th, 1983, and eventually go on to spawn a whole saga of vacation films. And it is said that Chevy Chase's portrayal of Clark Griswold is one of his greatest roles of all time. The film centers around the Griswolds and their summer road trip pilgrimage to the theme park Wally World. Hilarity ensues as the whole trip is plagued with disasters, and when they finally arrive, they find out that Wally World is closed for renovation. And they find this out from a security guard, played by John Candy, who says the famous line, "Sorry folks, the park is closed. The moose out front should have told you." Fucking hilarious. Driven mad by this fact, Clark then proceeds to force the family's way into the park at gunpoint and essentially kidnap the security guard and force him to not only open the park, but ride the rides with them. It might just be a small part, but man, is it great. And just one of the few examples in today's show that'll make you realize how much you miss John Candy. It was released on VHS later on in 1983, and again in 1986, 1991, 1995, 1998, and 1999. And the 1983 release was released in the Warner Brothers clamshell, and you can find one of these today from anywhere around $15 to $20, and the later copies for around $6. If you haven't seen this movie, first of all, you need to ask yourself, what the fuck is wrong with you? Second of all, go out and watch it right now. It's hilarious. And it's one of those movies that just got cemented into our culture. And usually, if you find yourself going to a theme park, more than likely, someone will say something like, "Hey man, it's like we're going to Wally World." It's just a really important film. And that's just one of the more famous examples of a summer vacation flick. And what are some other good examples of summer vacation movies? Well, climb aboard the VHS Pirate Ship, because we're going on vacation. And join me for today's episode, The Search for Summer Movies. Man, oh man, I sure do love summertime. Camping, cookouts, and the beach. And nothing really represented that love for the beach better than the beach party movies of the 1960s. The beach movie was a popular genre of film through the 1960s, made famous by Frankie and Annette. And it all started with the film Beach Party. And this would go on to spawn an entire saga of beach party movies. And though many other studios tried to capitalize on the popularity of the beach party movie, there are really only 7 films in the official beach party movie saga, with Beach Party, Muscle Beach Party, Bikini Beach, Pajama Party, Beach Blanket Bingo, How to Stuff a Wild Bikini, and The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. Yeah, that last one's real. It's part of the Beach Party saga. And Basil Rathbone and Boris Karloff are in it. Wow, that doesn't even seem like it's a real thing. Now, these movies are certainly not captivating pieces of cinematic art made for an enthralling cinematic experience. No, they're just fun. They're fun movies. And in the late 80s, they tried to recapture that fun with our next featured summer movie, Back to the Beach. In it, Frankie and Annette reprised their roles of their beach party films, only this time they're older and they've since moved to Ohio. They want to recapture their beach party days and decide on a trip to Hawaii. On the way there, they decide to stop in California to visit their daughter, who lives on the California coast. They end up reuniting with their old beach buddies and miss their flight to Hawaii, and the film ends up being an 80s version of the old beach party movies. And this movie is a cameo fest, with appearances by Stevie Ray Vaughan, Gilligan and the Skipper, and Pee Wee Herman, just to name a few. Keep in mind, this was the same time that the Pee Wee Herman character was getting really popular. And this was generally the only reason why most people went to see this movie. I know that's the reason I went to see it. It was released in theaters August 7th, 1987, and was released on VHS in 1988, and then again in 1991. And you can find either distribution for around $5 today. And then there's always people like this. Oh man, $54, rare my ass, and it's in a clamshell because it's an old rental copy. Ain't no one paying $54 for Back to the fucking Beach. All in all, it's a pretty fun movie. It definitely has the summer vacation vibe to it, so it's pretty fun. It's a total cheeseball cameo fest, and it's just a pretty good watch. At least once. It's just a fun movie. It's not any piece of cinematic art. If you want something like that, go watch Dr. Zhivago. And an interesting fun fact here, you can find the original Beach Party movies on VHS. They were released in the early 1980s by numerous distributors like Good Times Home Video or Video Treasures. And even some of the Monster Beach Party movies were released on VHS. And you can find these for pretty reasonable prices. Just saying. But the beach is just one aspect of summer vacationing. Let's take a look at a different aspect of summer vacationing. And let's head to the great outdoors. Captain Adam's VHS Pirate Ship will return after this. Kittykins Cat Snacks. Totally craveable, absolutely flavorful, and microwavable.
Kittykins Cat Snacks just for you. Kittykins Cat Snacks just for you.
In all new flavors that cats love, like garlic and field mouse, wounded baby rabbit, and try our new flavor combos. Like spam and salmon. Spammin'!
Kittykins Cat Snacks just for you. Kittykins Cat Snacks just for you.
And kids love them too. Kittykins Cat Snacks.
Kittykins Cat Snacks just for you. Kittykins Cat Snacks just for you.
If it is Buco, it is good. This is Buco Products. Buco Products makes a long line of good things. We make the walkie-talkie toaster, which is a toaster that is also a walkie-talkie. We also make internal combustion engine that is also potato salad. And now we make new chicken-flavored adhesive tape at always low price. We are Buco Products. If it is Buco, it is good.
Buco Products.
Injured at work, rough divorce, was a loved one killed in a horrible circus accident? The law offices of Dillon and Triceratops. They'll fight for you. Call today. We now return you to Captain Adam's VHS Pirate Ship. So there's all sorts of things you can do on summer vacation. Lots of different ideas, concepts, or trips to take. But usually there's only the big two. The beach or the lake. And the family in our next featured film preferred the latter. The Great Outdoors is a film that focuses on the shenanigans that can happen at a lakeside vacation. Chet Ripley, played by John Candy, takes his family on vacation to a lakeside town in Wisconsin. They had a whole nice relaxing week of activities planned. Then his brother-in-law, Roman Craig, played by Dan Aykroyd, shows up unexpectedly with his family and proceeds to essentially hijack the Ripley vacation. And the storyline scenario is just comedy gold. There are so many hilarious, memorable scenes in this movie, like when Chet inadvertently goes water skiing, or when they try to get rid of a bat that's trapped in their cabin, and that guy that keeps getting hit by lightning. It's a great movie. There's a giant bald-headed bear, and there's talking raccoons. Well, they have subtitles. And who could forget the most memorable scene of this film, the old 96. The food challenge that featured a 96-ounce steak. And this truly has to be one of John Candy's career highlights. This scene is hilarious. And it really sticks with you, too. Because when you go to a steakhouse, usually somebody always talks about this. Hey, man,
Remember when John Candy ate that big old steak?
It's a great movie, and Dan Aykroyd and John Candy's chemistry in this is just tremendous. And it's cool to see John Candy play the quote-unquote straight man. It was released in theaters June 17th, 1988, and was released on VHS in 1989, and then again in 1990, and again in 1992. In fact, all through the 90s, this had many distributions. The movie was an instant classic, so they made a lot of VHS tapes for it. This is not rare by any stretch of the imagination, but still great to have in your VHS collection. And you could find any of these distributions today from $4 to $10. And plus, since this was a pretty common VHS, you can usually find these in thrift stores, and usually only for a quarter. But lakeside vacations and quiet little mountain towns is just one aspect of summer vacation. But let's once again highlight one of the favorite summer vacation destinations. And let's go back to the beach.
No, we already covered that one.
No, I mean, let's go back to talking about the beach as a summer vacation. Oh yeah, right. Man, I guess I gotta be more careful with my segues. So anyways, yes, let's go back to talking about the beach. And let's talk about Summer Rental, which is yet another classic John Candy role. In the film, John Candy plays Jack Chester, an air traffic controller who was given 5 weeks paid leave because he almost causes a mid-air collision. He decides to use his time off to take his family on vacation to the Gulf Coast resort town of Citrus Cove, Florida. And then the cavalcade of problems commences. The house they rent is a dump, and Jack even gains a nemesis when he locks horns with local sailing champion Al Pelé, and then later challenges him to a regatta race. Now, naturally, I'm just summing up everything. There's a lot that happens in this movie, and it's hilarious. There's even a pirate with local restaurateur Scully, played by Rip Torn, who Jack befriends, and then Scully helps Jack with the regatta. One classic scene from this film is when Jack's walking down the beach with the cooler, and the cooler's drain's open, so he's just pouring water on anybody that's on the beach. It's hilarious. And the cast is pretty interesting. You got Karen Austin, who plays Sandy, Jack's wife, and she's probably best known for her role in Night Court in 1984. Then you got Carrie Green, who plays Jennifer, Jack and Sandy's daughter, and she's best known for playing Andy in The Goonies. You Goonie! It was released in theaters August 9th, 1985. Then was released on VHS in 1986, 1993, and again in 1994. And you can find one today from $5 to $10. And though Summer Rental does pale in comparison to other John Candy classics like Uncle Buck, it's still a great movie. Definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, see it again. Why not? It is a classic summer vacation movie. But anyways, let's move on. But let's stay on the beach and just head north to Nantucket for our next summer movie. And man, oh man, this is one of my absolute favorites. Captain Adam's VHS Pirate Ship will return after this.
Hey there, folks, it's me, Little Vino. And did you fuck your car up somehow? Maybe the engine's running rough because you haven't changed the oil in 3 goddamn years. Or maybe it's overheating because heaven forbid you check your antifreeze. Or maybe you need a new tire because you hit a curb because you were texting while you were driving. Like a fucking moron. Either way, your vehicle's fucked up, and I'm sure it's your fault. But I ain't here to judge. I'm just here to fix your car and take your money and serve you a nice cheesesteak while you wait. So come on down to Little Vino's Auto Repair and Cheesesteak Emporium. We do all sorts of automotive repair and got lots of cheesesteaks. And for a limited time only, we'll give you an oil change and refill your blinker fluid. Because a lot of you morons must be out of blinker fluid because you don't use your blinkers.
Use your fucking blinkers.
So come on down to Little Vino's Automotive Repair and Cheesesteak Emporium. Just because you're a fucking moron doesn't mean your taste buds are. Little Vino's Automotive Repair
And Cheesesteak Emporium.
Join the fun on Channel 1. Tonight on Channel 1, don't miss a new episode of everyone's favorite half-horse, half-robot, half-cop, RoboClop. RoboClop helps the Martins with their yard sale. Will it be a success or will it be a bust? Find out on the new episode of RoboClop.
Then on an all-new Night Goose, the vampiric goose that spends his nights fighting crime in the big city. Someone from his past returns, and Night Goose realizes that he may have forgotten his past, but his past hasn't forgotten him. Catch the all-new Night Goose.
That's RoboClop at 8,
Night Goose at 9.
only on Channel 1. Join the fun on Channel 1.
Channel 1!
We now return you to Captain Adam's VHS Pirate Ship. All right. Now it's time to talk about probably one of my favorite movies of all time, One Crazy Summer. And I think that it's just a quintessential summer vacation movie. The film centers around Hoops, played by John Cusack, and what he thinks will be a summer of boredom. He's just graduated high school, and his friend George, played by Joel Murray, invites him to come to Nantucket to stay with his family for the summer. The chaos soon ensues as they meet Cassandra, played by Demi Moore, at a gas station, who is being pursued by a biker gang. Hoops intervenes, and Cassandra ends up tagging along with George and Hoops to Nantucket. As it turns out, Cassandra's grandmother lives in Nantucket, and we discover that Cassandra's grandmother's house is getting ready to be foreclosed on by the evil Beckersteads. And you just can't have an 80s movie without some rich dickheads. I'm sorry, you just can't. These aren't my rules, I just follow them. Hoops tries to help Cassandra in raising the money to save her grandmother's house, but is unsuccessful. So, they decide to enter a regatta race where the prize money would more than cover what is owed on the house. This movie has a regatta in it too. Another climactic competition featuring a regatta. Very interesting. And again, I'm just summing things up here. There's a lot that goes on in this film too. And one of the reasons this movie is so great is this man, Bobcat Goldthwait. Through the 1980s, his material was just comedy gold. And as a kid, I loved this dude. And aside from Police Academy 2 and 3, this movie is probably one of his best roles. His portrayal of the character Egg Stork just makes this movie so much more entertaining. It was released in theaters August 8th, 1986. Then it was released on VHS in 1987. And then again in 88, and not again until 1999. And you can find the 80s distributions for around $20 today. And the Warner Brothers Hits edition from 1999 for around $5 to $7. It's a great movie, and you know, I'm often surprised on how many people tell me they haven't seen this movie. When I was a kid, I saw this like a billion times. There's just so many entertaining things about this movie. Like George's batshit crazy Uncle Frank, who's obsessed with winning a radio station contest. And since Hoops' character is an aspiring graphic artist, they have these little animated interludes that Hoops does. It's just really funny and unexpected. And Egg Stork gets stuck in a Godzilla costume. It's just fucking classic. And an interesting little tidbit here. Remember when I said that Cassandra was being pursued by a biker gang? Well, the gang leader, the guy with the purple hair, is the same guy who played Sloth in the Goonies. And that would be the second Goonies reference I've made in today's show. Interesting. But anyways, I'm prattling on here. One Crazy Summer is a great flick. Great summer movie, great comedy. If you haven't seen it, you just got to see this movie. And it's a short movie too, which I'm always a fan of. And some of the movies that are made nowadays could take a lesson from this. So those are the quintessential summer vacation movies that I think encompass the summer vacation concept perfectly. But that's not really all. So let's wrap up today's show with some honorable mention. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. So the first honorable mention would have to be Ernest Goes to Camp. And the only reason this didn't make the main show is because I'm going to be covering Ernest tapes in a future episode. But this movie does involve a summer camp, so that does make it a summer movie. So I think I should at least mention it because it's a great film. And yes, the summer camp factor does mean I consider Friday the 13th a summer vacation movie. And I feel that the movie Summer School is worth mentioning too, though it doesn't really involve a summer vacation because we all know that summer school is not a vacation. And believe me, the teachers don't like it any more than you little shitheads do. But the movie does take place in the summertime, so yeah, I think it's worth mentioning. It's a good watch, and what makes the movie really entertaining is these two dudes. They're huge horror movie fans and are aspiring special effects artists, and they use this in one of the best scenes in the movie. When they try to scare off their new teacher with this horrific scene in the classroom. And their previous teacher, which they love so much, is played by Mark Harmon. And if you're an NCIS fan, it's really fun to see Mark Harmon play such a lighthearted role, which is totally different than what he plays in NCIS. Another summer movie that I feel is worth mentioning is Jaws. Now, don't send me hate mail just yet. Let me explain. You see, the movie Jaws takes place in the beach town of Amity Island over July 4th weekend. Those two factors alone make this a great summer vacation movie. And at its core, this film is about a couple of dudes going deep sea fishing together. Beach town, July 4th weekend, and deep sea fishing. I know there's a man-eating shark involved. I've seen the movie. All I'm saying is, it might be about a giant shark, but it's also a summer vacation movie. Hey, if you guys can say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, then I sure as shit can say that Jaws is a summer vacation movie. But anyways, I gotta wrap this up here. So in closing, the lesson from all these movies today is that people will go through so much trouble just to relax on vacation, and how much of a pain in the ass having fun can be. So I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you have a nice, safe summer. And I'll see you next time on Captain Adam's VHS Pirate Ship.